Yakuza is definitely a game that I would consider picking up if I ever found myself with the PlayStation 4, just like maybe I'm walking somewhere and somebody left one on the street somewhere. And I was like, dude, you know what? I can play Yakuza now.
Hello everybody and welcome back to X-Gen, and this week we are finally talking about something I've become a really big fan of in the last year. And as you already saw in that clip from a couple semesters ago, I was really interested in the Yakuza series back when they were only on PlayStation, but apparently Bill Gates is listening to me because here we are with 3 Yakuza games on the system and Yakuza Like a Dragon coming out soon for current and next-gen consoles. This week we're going to talk about the first game to hit Xbox and the game that is a prequel to the whole series, Yakuza 0. This is just a really great over-the-top Japanese game and I just can't wait to tell you guys about it. I'm going to preface this section by making sure everybody knows this game does not have an English dub. So if you hate subtitles, you might not have a good time. But the story here is definitely an interesting one. Throughout the story, you get to play as 2 different playable characters, the first being Kazuma Kiryu and the second being Goro Majima. Kiryu has been the series' main antagonist for the first few games. However, this is the first time Majima has been playable, as he has always been kind of a wacky side character that wants to fight Kiryu all the time in other games. Most of this game's story is based around a literal empty lot. The 2 different Yakuza clans our main characters belong to are trying to gain ownership of an empty lot that is vital to the city's revitalization project, pretty much meaning whoever owns the lot is due for a big payday. The main problem is that the owner of the lot is not very easy to find. Majima is sent out to find the owner and kill them. He's about to carry out the order until he finds out the real owner is a young blind Chinese woman. Instead of killing her, Majima goes against his clan's wishes and tries to protect her. While this is all happening, Kiryu is framed for murder and removed from his clan, so he must now work with a young real estate broker to try and find the owner of the same empty lot Majima's new friend owns, and also clear his name of the murder charge. Obviously, both stories have their own subplots and stories, but the empty lot is pretty much where everything comes together in the end. I think it is a pretty solid story with a good number of twists and reveals that really do surprise you, which is nice. It can be hard to enjoy a story that you can predict super easily. In the gameplay section, I'll mostly be talking about combat and exploration and leave the fun stuff for the experience portion. Yakuza 0 was actually the first game in the series to feature different fighting styles that you could switch to during combat. For Kiryu, his fighting styles are Brawler, which is pretty much the basic style, Beast, which mainly focuses on the use of heavy weapons like bikes during combat, Rush style, which is more of a fast-paced boxing style, and the Dragon of Dojima style, which is more reminiscent of his fighting style in the first couple Yakuza games. For Majima, his styles include Thug, Slugger, which is based around the use of, you guessed it, a baseball bat, Breaker style, which is not so much about breaking bones as much as it is about break dancing, and the Mad Dog of Shimano style, which is mostly based around his use of a blade, and it does some pretty insane damage. The combat in this game feels pretty good, and I like being able to have the different options for different kind of fights. In order to get upgrades, you have to spend money on them, so making a lot of money is definitely a thing you want to do. One way you can go about that is taking on Mr. Shakedown. Mr. Shakedown's a giant man who you'll run into every now and then his main goal is to beat the crap out of you and take all your money, but if you can beat him, you can win a decent amount of cash off of him. I'd say definitely the best way, though, to make money is by making use of each character's side businesses. Kiryu's side business is running a real estate agency, so as him, you have to go around and purchase businesses to add to your portfolio, and the more places you purchase, obviously, the more money you'll earn from that. One of the best things they do with their real estate business is during deals, they always have Kiryu put on these glasses just to make him look more professional, because I'm sure it totally distracts from all the chest hair he's showing off at all times. Majima's side hustle is running a cabaret club. A cabaret club is essentially a place where lonely dudes can go and pay money to have drinks with some pretty girls for a night. So as Majima, you have to complete this mini game where you serve all these customers and make sure they have a good time so that they will come back and spend more money at your club. Both of these side businesses have their own progression system, and once you progress them both into being the best business in town, that is when you unlock the legendary Dragon and Mad Dog styles. Now, of course, with all that going on, you might ask yourself, what does a Yakuza do to have some fun when he's not kicking butt or working his side hustle? Well, let's take a look at a few of the 27 different minigames you can play in this game. We've got blackjack, pool, batting cages, bowling, dancing, pocket circuit racing, and my absolute favorite, karaoke. Another karaoke song from this game recently blew up into a huge meme. You might be familiar with it. I mean, just seeing someone like Majima just really getting down, that right there is entertainment, and it's something I really enjoy about this game. Like many other games I have talked about, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It doesn't think, oh, if the players see these guys doing something like karaoke, it will hurt their image of that character. But the team behind it knows that their fans play their games for that kind of craziness. I had high hopes for this game, and I'm really glad that this series has finally made it over to the West and is having the success it is, because I definitely intend to play Yakuza Like a Dragon on next gen after I finish Yakuza Kiwami 2, and you can actually see what I think about Yakuza Kiwami 1 later in this episode of Gen 2, so stick around for that, and I will see you next week on X Gen.